Daphne and I first met at a nightclub back in the 80s. I was working as a bouncer, and she was a lively, fun loving customer named Daphne. After a first date, we quickly hit it off. 2 months later, we moved in together. 2 years after that, we got married. We had a happy life work, some play, eventually children. I moved from a very active job to a more sedentary one, and I put on a significant amount of weight, enough that sex became difficult because I get an asthma attack. We tried different ways to spice up our sex life, but remained monogamous, never crossing that line. I had been cheated on in a previous relationship, so infidelity was a red line for both me and Daphne. We were deeply in love and believed we'd remain together until the end. Across 33 years of marriage, my love for her only grew stronger each passing year. Our bedroom life eventually went dormant for about 20 years. Finally, I decided to lose weight for three main reasons. I wanted to live long enough to see my grandkids grow up. I needed to address my serious health concerns. I wanted to reignite our sex life. So, over 2 years, I lost roughly 80 kilograms, about 176 ounces, and even had a tummy tuck. It might sound vain, but once the weight was gone, the changes at home became significant. For the last 2 years, Daphne and I were having sex 3 to 4 times a week, and she really seemed to enjoy every moment. Our marriage felt revitalized in many ways. She kept saying she still loved me and that I was the only man for her. I had never been unfaithful to her, and I believed wholeheartedly that she would never cheat on me. Well, that was until 3 days ago. The revelation. Daphne went on a vacation with her two sisters, traveling to another state. I didn't mind. She knew well that cheating was my ultimate deal breaker, even after 33 years, but we'd never had trust issues, so off she went. We had each other's whereabouts on an app, sharing phone access freely. Our relationship had always been that open and safe. When I lost weight and slimmed down, I noticed more attention from other women. Daphne said she felt a bit insecure about it, but I constantly reassured her that I loved her no matter her size. I told her daily that she was beautiful, and indeed our sex life blossomed. I had never felt better about us. One evening after finishing my job, I was driving home and I got a phone call from Daphne. She sounded distraught, asking if her sister, let's call her Rachel, had already spoken to me. Confused, I said no. That's when Daphne dropped a bomb. She confessed to cheating on me, telling me she'd slept with another man. She was sobbing, claiming she had no idea what came over her and how sorry she was. I was numb, feeling my heart shatter. I parked the car because I couldn't drive while hearing this. She explained that she and her sisters had been out drinking on this holiday when they met a married couple. They drank together until 2 in the morning, at which point her sisters left for their own room. She said the hotel bar closed, and then she was very drunk and ended up in that couple's room to keep drinking and chatting. The couple complimented her, calling her sexy, telling her I was a lucky husband. The husband started to touch her, and his wife joined in, supposedly telling Daphne that nobody would ever know and that she should just enjoy it. She insisted to me that she felt like it wasn't really her in that moment. In the morning, she woke up in bed with both of them, still asleep, and fled back to her own room. One of her sisters, Rachel, had spotted her returning and forced Daphne to tell me or else she would. Daphne apologized, declared her hatred of herself, swore up and down that she loved me, and insisted it was a horrible mistake. I corrected her, telling her it wasn't a mistake but a decision. Then I hung up and switched off my phone. I drove home and sat in silence, my mind spiraling with heartbreak. I was mourning the life we had over 3 decades, erased by one night. For 2 days, I shut out the world, ignoring my phone. When I powered it on again, I had messages from Daphne, her sisters, and even my children who had tried to check on me. The final message was that Daphne was on her way home. I informed my kids I'd be leaving before she arrived, so I could gather my thoughts somewhere else. I told them not to reveal my whereabouts. Finally, I texted Daphne telling her that we were getting a divorce and that I didn't care about the details or her excuses anymore. I'd always said if she cheated, that was the end. The emotional pain was overwhelming. Amazing how so many years can vanish in a snap. I might be rambling, but so many things swirl in my head. Some clarifications. Our bedroom was somewhat dormant for 2 decades, but it wasn't entirely dead. Just a big difference compared to our last 2 active years. I served in the military, was medically discharged after an injury, and then we bought a small business. We ended up working together. Before speaking to Daphne face to face, I talked in depth with my sister in law, Rachel, and her husband. The story Daphne told me initially was not the full truth. My kids were horrified by what happened. They just wanted to show me support. I explained to them that they might feel anger, but she is still their mother and grandmother to their own children. Though she devastated our marriage, it doesn't change that they love her in their own way. Daphne and her sisters cut the holiday short and came home. I left a note telling Daphne to pack her things and go stay at her mother's. She did so. Apparently, the details of her cheating were worse than her teary confession. She only admitted it because her sister threatened to expose her, not out of genuine honesty. Daphne apparently told her sister everything. She was insecure. The idea of a passion encounter beyond our marriage thrilled her. She connected with that couple. They were some out-of-state customers from our business, by phone calls, flirting, and eventually they invited her out. She wanted to chase a fantasy, never planning to tell me. Her sister stumbled into it, but once they left the bar, Daphne ended up going to the couple's room. That's how it unfolded. The confrontation. Daphne asked to come talk to me. I already knew what I was going to do. She decided to cheat so we'd all feel the repercussions. She says she's lost me in the marriage. She's right, but she wants me to just get over it. We are finished. If others want to blame me for not forgiving her, that's their business. I've endured infidelity before. I don't give second chances. I see that she regrets it, but it's only because she got caught and lost everything. She's sorry now, but she made that decision to betray me. I had a final talk with Daphne. She came to the house looking exhausted. In the past, I would have comforted her, but not this time. She rushed to hug me, sobbing with apologies, but I told her to sit and answer my questions, letting her know from the start that we were done. She could answer, but it wouldn't change the outcome. She admitted to having sex with that man only once physically, though it apparently happened after extended flirting with him and involvement of the wife. She tried to talk about feeling insecure. She tried to blame her illusions, claiming it was a fantasy. I cut her off. I didn't want excuses, correct as she described it. She claimed it was the first time she had cheated in 33 years. Honestly, it didn't matter. The result is the same. She tried to get me to work on our marriage. She said she'd let me do anything, even have affairs, if that's what it took to keep me. That was just humiliating. I told her I'd never be able to forget that she let another man have sex with her, with his wife watching. She was crying as she realized how serious I was. She cried more when I said all the good memories remain as memories, but she destroyed our future. I told her we'd sell the house and our business, each get half. She can keep the car. I'll keep my truck and motorbike. She can take our cats. We get a divorce. And I never wanted to see or hear from her again unless it was about our kids and grandkids. She tried more excuses, but I was done. I just wanted her out. Aftermath and updates. So it's been 5 chaotic weeks since Daphne destroyed our marriage. I believe I made the right decision. I can never trust or desire her again. She's staying with her mother while I put the house on the market. We lived there for 20 years, so there's clutter to clear. Meanwhile, we sold our business to an interested buyer. The settlement is in a month. The divorce process is a nightmare. You have to be separated for 12 months and a day before even filing, then another 4 months to finalize if uncontested. We have no joint possessions left. If she keeps signing the sale contracts, we can finalize it. My kids are grown with families. My son only spoke to her once heatedly. My daughter has talked to her, shown some compassion but also disappointment. She's blunt and told her mother exactly what she thought. Meanwhile, Daphne remains delusional. She thinks eventually I'll forgive her, that 33 years in our bond will magically fix everything. At one point, after we both signed real estate documents, she told me I'd changed my mind because I still love her. She suggested she'd become a better wife. We'd age together, that this was just a speed bump. I told her she was insane. She had another man's dick inside her in a planned scenario. She freaked out, apologized, said it wasn't even good. I told her not to talk about how she liked or disliked it. The point is, she still had sex with him. I told her that I want nothing to do with her and that she can't stop this from ending. She seems in massive denial, thinking she can keep controlling me. I must say, ironically, I've been receiving attention from women. I'm in no mindset to date, but it's good to know I have options eventually. My soon to be ex is angry too. At female acquaintances have brought me meals and company. She told me to get it out of my system and come back. Insane, I remain resolute. The heartbreak persists. I feel hate, anger, disgust, betrayal, sadness. But I'm strong enough to endure. My main focus is severing finances with her, finishing the divorce, and moving forward. 3 months have passed. The business is sold. The house is sold. We're legally separated, waiting for the 1 year mark for final divorce. But for all practical purposes, we're done. I wouldn't have imagined being here 90 days ago. We had a stable, lovely life with deep family ties. In one fell swoop, she threw it away. Now, after reflection, I realize I can adapt. She forced me to adapt. I'm a practical man with strong family values, so I won't wallow in self pity or act like a victim. Splitting the assets left me enough to buy a pair of small units near my grandkids. My grown son and daughter each live in different states, so I like being close to them. A competitor offered me a part-time job. I accepted, leaving plenty of free time. I spent a couple weeks motorbike traveling, coffee stops, scenic rides, evenings at pubs. The casual dating scene, I discovered, is surprisingly open. I've had a couple flings, just fun, no emotional baggage. That might shock some folks, but I'm just living. Some asked if I confronted the couple who had the threesome with Daphne. No, I see no reason. They're irrelevant. Daphne made her choice. If I fixated on them, that would be wasted energy. The best revenge is showing I don't care. Life goes on. Daphne still thinks we can reconcile. I told her it's finished. She's only sad because she got exposed and lost everything. She calls our daughter all upset. That's none of my concern. Life is different, but I look toward the future. I'll share updates months from now. For now, I remain on my path.